my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you're so very welcome indeed, my darlings. It is chilly here in London, and so I am wearing my very, very comfortable, lovely Louis V dupe sweater. Yes. Are we living and loving? I got this on Ego Official. I love it. I bought a blue and white one, and I also bought this t-shirt right here. Let me show you. Do you see my dupe Louis V? The label is right there. Ego. And I'm going to wear this in another episode, so watch and see me. Anyway, I'm casual today. I'm just wearing my cargo pants, and I'm just wearing my faux Louis V sweater from Ego. And then of course you have to be a little bit glam, so I'm just wearing my clear heels. That's all I'm wearing today. I'm kind of running around a little bit with errands and stuff like that, but we're here, my darlings. We are here. How are you? How is it going? I'm meeting a lot of Fumi Nation sisters out here in these London streets, and you are also very fabulous. That's my sister Ronnie. I'm filming. I have to stop. Wait, hold on. Let me have my drink, because you know what? We have to talk about this. So as I was saying, a lot of you requested that I talk about the Menendez brothers. There is a new Netflix show called Monsters, and that has brought up this case all over again. For those of you that don't know, I'm 55. I'm going to be 56 next year. I don't know how I got here. The last time I checked, I was 21, feeling fabulous. But here we are, growing older. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a privilege to grow older, to be older, to get older. It's a privilege for me, because the alternative is 6 foot under. I would rather be here with my graying hair, with my little wrinkles. I don't mind that at all. The Menendez brothers deleted their parents in 1989, their mom and their father. They've been incarcerated now in the same prison, same unit, for the past 30 plus years. At the time that they were convicted, they were separated and they were put in different prisons. They were reunited 22 years later in 2018, of which they burst into tears after seeing each other. That was mainly because I think it was Eric had sent a letter to Lyle saying that we should try to get out of prison or something like that in the early days. And the authorities got wind of it and they separated them. I'm going to be jumping back and forth because I don't really need to read anything. I remember that time, and it was huge because these were 2 children in Beverly Hills. They were white, they were rich, and the father was an immigrant from Cuba who had married Kitty, who was American. Needless to say, Jose was, I think, an entertainment executive, and he was very determined, very aggressive in his personality, neither here nor there. On this day and age, we would say he's going after his coin. But in those days, he was considered very determined, very aggressive, especially with his boys, Lyle and Eric. They got into trouble. I think Eric plagiarized a paper in school, and he went to the school to try to sort it out so that he would not be suspended. He donated $50,000+ to the schools so that they could get a place in certain schools. They had to be the best of the best of the best of the best of the best at tennis. He was very stern with them, very strict with them. And I'm giving you the background because in my head, this is how I feel about it. Why? Because there's been talks about them being released after all of these years. And this is where it came for me, because we were following this story from the beginning. Unfortunately, of course, Kitty and Jose are no longer here to give us their side, but a lot of witnesses came in to tell us stories about them, of which I think there's his side, her side, and then somewhere in between you can kind of get the truth. Kitty was very complacent, and she, as far as I'm concerned, I feel, loved Jose in a way I think she didn't with the boys. I think she loved his strength and his determination and the fact that anything he pursued, he executed. Eric and Lyle were not like that. They were not like their father. They were very, very different from their father. And I think that Eric and Lyle became even closer and closer because it was very much parents against children. Eric and Lyle had a common person that they just did not like, and that was their dad. And that was what fused Eric and Lyle together. I think that in some way, shape or form, I couldn't say because I really don't know, but I will say in some way, shape or form, Jose was extremely stern, with no room for breath with the children. How far this abuse went on, as in S abuse, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I know that the family had deep-rooted problems. You see, if you have one child that deletes a family member, that's a bad seed. If you have two children that delete two family members, that's a terribly disturbed family. And I think it came to the surface. And that was why they did what they did. Do I agree to it? That's up for debate because I think two things can be true. I do believe that, was there a possibility of SA? Yes, I do. I also believe that they felt that on top of all of that SA, mom and dad were not going to leave them anything. So I do believe also that they deleted for the motive of money. I believe the two things are very true. They're not separate. They're very true. Because over time, unbeknownst to Jose, the father, he planted the seed of deep hatred in his sons for him. Unbeknownst to him. He must have thought in his mind, I came from Cuba, I did not have anything, I did not get anything. I want these children to be this, I want them to be that, I'm going to drive them. He did, in the wrong direction. Eric and Lyle were not innocent either. They were breaking into homes, they were doing all kinds of stupid things, and he was scooping them out of these issues all the time. When they deleted their parents, they ran away and they went to, I think, a movie theater or something. And from what we heard back in the day, they decided that that was not a good idea because the tickets of the movie theater will show this timestamp. Needless to say, when they did come back to the house, the officials were not there because they used gunshots. So when they got back home, nobody was there, of which now they had to call the police. They called the police, and of course it was so horrendous that you could not even recognize the parents. Their features were completely destroyed. That's what I remember. It did not occur to check for gun residue on the boys' hands. Needless to say, I think it was Eric that told his psychiatrist what he had done, but it did not get to the ears of the authorities until the psychiatrist's girlfriend went to report them, and that was because I think she had broken up with him or something like that, and that was how we got to find out the whole tea. But between that time, they traveled, they spent almost $1 million, like 700,000 dollars of their parents' money, buying all kinds of things, tennis classes. They were traveling, buying restaurants, you know, all of these things. For me, if your parents essayed you and you felt the way that you did, I wouldn't want anything from you. I wouldn't even want the money. And there was an instance where I think Eric had said that he was wearing his father's shoes because the father had said, "You will never fill my shoes." So there was verbal abuse there as well. There was physical abuse, and there was abuse, allegedly. This is what can happen when you do not have a relationship with your family. Parents to children, children to parents. When the expectation of your children far exceeds the potential of what your child has, or that child is put in the wrong box. You think that child has to be the mirror image of you because he is from you, but he is not of you. He's a completely different human being on his own. Do I think it was justified? I struggle with that, and I lean towards no. I think that the motive wasn't about the essay, it was about the money, because they could have run away, gone to the police earlier on. I think they hated them. I think they truly hated, deep-rooted, hated their father. And that was why they did what they did, not thinking of the aftermath. They ruined their lives. They're very good prisoners. They have never been in trouble in prison. They evolved, they got married, they graduated. They've done everything very well in prison. And that lets me know without a doubt it's because their enemy was deleted from their lives, of whom was causing them unbearable anguish. Because they're incarcerated all these years and they've done so very well. If you ask them, they might tell you that they've had a better life incarcerated than the 21 and the 18 years they had with their parents in Beverly Hills. Because there is a cause and effect. I don't know about the essay. I don't know whether it really happened or it didn't. I don't know. But I do know for a fact that the father caused unbelievable anguish to them. 100%. And that was why they did what they did. And I think that the mother went along with him because she knew, she watched and did and said nothing. And that made her just as guilty. Love and hate are very, very similar. They pull on their heartstrings with the same strength. Do I think that they should be released? Yes. Yes. I think they've been punished for what they did. Majority of their lives have gone. Lyle is 56 and Eric is 53. They got back together after 22 years in 2018. So I think that they have They have paid their dues. They've paid their dues. They don't get any inheritance. All of that is gone. They will always be known as the Menendez brothers who deleted their parents. And that stain will forever be on them because it's not a natural thing to do. It's one thing to delete somebody, but it's another thing to delete the people that gave you life. That's how I look at it. It was a sensational case, and the first trial was a hung jury, and within the space and time of the second one, we had the OJ case. OJ actually had a cell beside Eric Menendez. Yeah. And apparently they had their conversations, and Eric was advising him because Eric, well, they had been in jail for a good while because they were denied bail. And of course, the late O.J. Simpson was acquitted of all charges. And so at that time, the temperature had changed for Lyle and Eric, and it was a huge debate because the tapes that were taken from Eric's therapist were not put into consideration for the second case, and so they were given life without parole. It was all over People magazine. Barbara Walters interviewed them. Everybody interviewed them. And like I said, I was young at that age too. I was 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I came to New York May of 1995. 1st of May. I had just turned 25 from London, of which I'm back again. And I remember it very well. Selena had just been deleted as well. And Selena and I have the same birthday, April the 16th. And then we had the OJ case. And then, of course, we had the Menendez brothers. What do I think? Finally, I don't know about the essay. I don't know. 50-50, I don't know. But I do know that there was also a motive about money because they were spending that right away. That's what I got. I also believe that the family structure was completely deteriorated way before this carried out and happened. And I do think, after much consideration, they should be released. That's all I can tell you, my darlings. It was a sensational case, and I wish that we had social media at that time. But we didn't. We saw it all on television. No, we saw the first case on television, the first trial on television, and then the second one was closed. So people kind of lost interest, didn't care, kind of thing. And it's all come back now in Netflix. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will see you I'll see you sooner than later. All of my love.